Hi, welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the BI Rabbi. I'm Rabbi Stein. I know I'm usually outside in the cold filming these videos in interesting spots, but I thought I'd bring you back into my office with my, I don't know, it looks like a professor's office here with books all over the place, but welcome. I came across an interesting article this week in the New York Times. To save an ancient Italian ruin, send in the sheep. And I thought, I think I know what this might be about. It's about the city of Pompeii, the famous one that when we think of Pompeii, we think of the volcano, Mount Vesuvius. It erupted in 79 CE. I was reminded of the date when reading the article. Actually, very interesting that it's so close to the time that the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and our second temple. Now, it destroyed the city of Pompeii, it really buried it alive. The people were given very little notice. It's famous for the city being really kept intact and the archaeological digs there. Really, life was going on as normal, and then the huge lava and the spray from the volcano comes in. So the article is about 1/3 of this vast archaeological park. 1/3 of it is still hidden under pumice and meters of earth. There are drones that go by once a month to scan it and look for different cracks and things, and they're still doing archaeological digs there, but 1/3 of it is in danger of becoming overgrown with thorn bushes and wild hedges and trees. So the park's director brought in 151 sheep. Here they are. They're grazing and chomping down invasive vegetation and destructive roots and wild terrains. All of that could lead to the city's reburial under landslides if the vegetation just is left to go wild. Now, they've even been using the sheep to introduce autistic children to the park, helping to create a more memorable and authentic Pompeii experience than just a lecture. Not that there's anything wrong with lectures. Now, I also heard that they did something similar when I was living in Los Angeles at the Getty Museum, the famous John Paul Getty Museum. They brought goats to eat up the grass, and if there was too much grass, it would cause a big fire risk. So these sheep actually made me think of this week's Torah portion. Joseph will reveal himself to his brothers, but after he does that, has a reunion, he wants to bring his father and his siblings and their families back to Egypt to be with him there. And he tells them all, he says, I'm going to explain to Pharaoh that my family members are... they're breeders of livestock, and they brought with them their flocks and herds and all that's theirs. But he tells his relatives to lie to Pharaoh. He says, when Pharaoh asks you what your occupation is, answer that you've been breeders of livestock from your youth, and now we and our fathers, all of our ancestors, we've been breeders of livestock all the time, and not shepherds. Why does he tell them to lie? Well, it turns out that shepherds are abhorrent to Egyptians. And it makes me think, well, what kinds of animals did the Egyptians not like? Maybe they didn't like sheep, or just didn't like shepherds, held them in low esteem, like the commentary in our Etz Chaim Chumash says. And maybe they were just more into cows because they revered cows and worshipped them as gods. Well, when Pharaoh does ask the siblings of Joseph about their occupation, the brothers of Joseph answer, they say, we're shepherds just like our fathers, completely ignoring Joseph's request to lie. So it makes me realize that our ancestors, the brothers that give rise to the 12 tribes, they must have not only felt strongly about their occupation and their identity as shepherds, but they must have felt a strong connection to their sheep as well. Like the shepherd, this guy's name is Gaspare di Martino. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly. He is the guy in Pompeii. I think the relationship between humans and animals is very important, whether it's our ancestors with their sheep or the Egyptians with their cows that they revered. But we need to uphold and care for this relationship. Some of us have pets, cats, dog, fish, horses even. For many cultures and many centuries, animals have been a vital part about humans get food from the ground, planting and cultivating wheat and vegetables, for example. And of course, meat and dairy and eggs from animals themselves, like cows and chickens. I say this as a vegetarian, but I know it's important to many other people and throughout history to eat meat. Losing pets, of course, is so difficult. I know 2 people in our community recently who lost dogs that they had in their family's lives for 10 or 15 years, longer than either of my kids have been in our lives. So this week, as we go into a new year, let us value the relationships we have, not just with each other, but with the animals that are so vital in our lives as well. Shabbat Shalom.